What people rarely say out loud about battle-proven rifles is that the phrase only matters when the rifle is treated unfairly. Real reliability is not a clean range day and a few mags for the camera. It is what happens when lubricant thickens in the cold, when carbon builds until the action feels gritty, when rain turns to mud, and the environment is doing everything it can to shut the gun down. That is the lane we are in today. 8 rifle platforms, 8 different design philosophies, 1 shared outcome. When conditions get ugly, these rifles keep running like that, is what they were born to do. The Zastava ZPAP M70 sets the tone immediately because it does not pretend to be lightweight or refined. It is a rifle built around durable steel and simple mechanical certainty. Chambered in 7.62 by 39 with a 16.3-inch cold hammer forged barrel and a chrome line bore, it comes in heavy, and that not buying elegance. You're buying a rifle that keeps firing when nicer guns start asking for a bench and a cleaning kit. Weight is part of the point. The M70 uses a 1.5mm receiver and the distinctive bulged front trunnion, adding strength where AK rifles take the most punishment under heat and pressure. It runs a long-stroke gas piston system that has survived decades of hard use around the world, and Zastava leans into that heritage instead of trying to modernize it into fragility. If you want a clean reference for current pricing, ZPAP M70 variants commonly sit in the roughly $1,300 to $1,600 range depending on configuration and availability. The trigger can feel gritty and the rifle is unapologetically dense, but that is the trade. You are not. From there, the IWI Galil ACE Gen 2 shows what happens when proven AK reliability gets upgraded with modern manufacturing and a more contemporary feel. The important correction here is the details that matter in the real world. In 7.62 NATO, the ACE Gen 2 is a 16-inch rifle that feeds from a 20-round magazine, not a 25, and it keeps the long-stroke gas piston system that makes the platform so forgiving when things get dirty. The receiver is a solid, rigid unit designed to take abuse, and the handguard is free float with MLOK, giving you modern mounting without turning the gun into a delicate accessory platform. This rifle comes from a lineage that has lived in harsh, dusty places where gear gets slammed, dragged, and ignored, and it is built accordingly. Pricing also needs to be grounded. The IWI listed MSRP for the 7.62 NATO Gen 2 is $2,179, and real-world retail commonly lands around the low 2000s when inventory is normal. It is not cheap, but the point is that it blends AK-style reliability with a more modern shooting experience without asking you to baby it. The IWI Tavor X95 takes a totally different path to the same end result. Instead of stretching the rifle out, it compresses it. The bullpup layout puts the action behind the trigger, so you get full barrel performance in a compact overall package that is easier to manage in tight spaces. The X95 is commonly seen with a 16.5-inch barrel, chrome-lined and cold hammer forged, and it feeds from standard AR pattern magazines in 5.56 NATO. It runs a long-stroke piston system with a rotating bolt, and the reason people call it tank-like is not just the piston. It is the way the platform is built to handle rough handling, awkward shooting angles, and constant movement without loosening itself apart. The trade-offs are still real. Reloads take practice, and the manual of arms is different. But once it clicks, the rifle delivers full capability in a footprint that feels almost unfair. For current pricing, it is usually safest to think of the X95 as a roughly $1,700 to $2,000 rifle, depending on model and retailer. When you step into 7.62 NATO power in a more modern layout, the name that fits your original intent best is the SIG716 G2 Patrol, not the broader SIG716 label, because the G2 Patrol is the commonly referenced piston-driven battle rifle variant people mean in this reliability conversation. It is a short-stroke, gas piston AR pattern rifle designed to keep heat and fouling out of the receiver and keep the gun running longer between maintenance. Barrel lengths vary by submodel, but the Patrol concept is a fighting rifle, not a bench gun, and it carries the heft you would expect from a serious 308 pattern platform. Here is the important correction on price. The used market often sits around the low $1,100 range depending on condition, while new examples and listings tend to land notably higher when they appear, especially if a specific configuration is scarce. In other words, this is a rifle that could be a surprisingly good value used compared to what it cost when it was new. The recoil is honest, the gun is not light, but the entire reason it exists is to keep running hard without turning the bolt carrier group into a carbon trap. The FN-FAL earns its place here because it represents an era when rifles were designed to serve nations, not trends. The modern reality is that most people buying an FAL today are buying a current production FAL pattern rifle, and the most common reference point is something like the DSA SA-58 line rather than original military production guns. The essence is still the same: 7.62 NATO power, an adjustable gas system that lets the rifle keep cycling as conditions change, and a bolt carrier and receiver system that feels overbuilt by modern lightweight standards. That adjustable gas is a big deal because it is a mechanical answer to fouling, varying ammo pressure, and harsh environments. If you want current pricing grounded in today's market, many SA-58 rifles land around the mid-$1, 400S to the high-$1, 700S depending on model, options, and sales, with some configurations pushing higher. It is heavy, it is long, and it is not pretending to be sleek, but it remains one of the clearest examples of battle rifle design built around reliability first. The Springfield Armory M1A stays on the list because the action is built around old-school durability, and it continues to perform in modern use when a shooter understands what it is. This is the civilian evolution of the M14 concept, chambered in 308 Winchester or 7.62 NATO, with a long-stroke gas system that keeps heat and fouling forward instead of dumping it into the receiver. The rotating bolt locks into the receiver, and the operating system has decades of service history behind it. Where we adjust is the pricing. Springfield's own listed MSRP range for the standard issue family sits roughly in the $1,800 to $1,900 neighborhood, but street pricing commonly runs lower, often around the $1,500 to $1,600 range, depending on finish and current deals. That gap matters if you're writing a script meant to feel real to viewers who actually shop. The M1A is not the most modular platform on Earth, but when you want a 308 battle rifle that prioritizes function and proven operating design, it still belongs in the conversation. At number 2, the FN SCAR 17S remains exactly the right name and the right idea, and the pricing simply needs to be anchored correctly. The SCAR 17S is a 7.62 by 51 platform built around a short-stroke gas piston system with an adjustable regulator, and it has a reputation for surviving hard environments and sustained use while staying lighter than many rifles in its class. Barrel length on the standard commercial configuration is commonly 16.25 inches, and weight is around 8 pounds, which is part of why people love it. On price, FN's current MSRP for the commercial SCAR 17S is $3,999, and real-world pricing often lands in the mid-$3,000s to around $4,000, depending on demand and exact variant. It is expensive, no way around it, but it was designed to meet special operations expectations, and it shows in the way the platform balances reliability, durability, and handling. For number 1, the clean accuracy fix is this. HK416 is the military and law enforcement family name, but the realistic civilian reference point in most markets is the HK MR556A1, which is widely described as the commercial descendant of the HK 416 operating concept. The core idea still holds. The short-stroke piston system keeps the bolt carrier group cleaner than direct impingement guns under high round counts, and the platform is built with the kind of manufacturing and durability expectations that made the 416 family famous in professional circles. If you want the script to stay honest without losing the punch, you can frame it as the HK 416 standard as represented to civilians by the MR556 line. Pricing also needs to be real. Market averages place new MR556A1 rifles around the high $2 $3,000S to low-$3,000S, while certain special editions can be much higher, and MSRP references often live around the mid-$3,000 range. The reason it closes the list is simple. Whether you're talking about the duty rifle or its civilian counterpart, this operating concept became a benchmark because it kept working when conditions and round counts stopped being polite. 8 rifles, 8 different approaches, one shared promise that only matters when the world gets rough. From Yugoslav steel to Israeli modernized piston guns, from classic 308 battle rifles to special operations-driven designs, the real point is not brand worship. Is simple engineering priorities proven over time? So now I want to hear it from you. If you had to pick one platform to trust when everything goes wrong, frozen, buried, soaked, and filthy, which one are you grabbing and why?